This is Financial Straight Talk with Jim Fox.
It's Financial Straight Talk, and we are happy to have you with us. Alongside Jim Fox with Wadadley Financial Group right here on the Space Coast, I'm Kevin McAlpin. Thanks, as always, for joining us. And don't forget, set a reminder. We're with you same time, same station, right here on the Space Coast each and every weekend, talking all things retirement. And if you'd like to learn more, folks, you want to get on Jim's calendar, you want to start putting that plan in place when it comes to a 40-year retirement, like we talked earlier, it all starts with one phone call to 321-414-7526. 321-414-PLAN online at getfst.com. So, Jim, I know you spend a little bit of time here and there. You dabble in the social media from time to time, right?
Yeah, we got away from it a few months ago. But yeah, still here and there, yes.
All right. So I came across this story of Brittany Smith, and it's a video that was really one that was pulling at a lot of heartstrings. Recently, she ordered DoorDash. And, Jim, she never expected that the delivery person would be an elderly man very slowly walking up her steps to drop her food off. Well, it turns out it was 78-year-old Richard Pulley, whose retirement was interrupted when his wife of 56 years suddenly got sick. It's a sad story. I promise you it does have a better outcome, though. Brittany started a GoFundMe for Richard, raised nearly $1 million, and that helped him get back into retirement.
It really just shows his generation, because here he is just trying to make sure his family's taken care of. You know, he was doing it for her because he wanted to make sure that she had the medication that she needed. I've had so many people say, well, it was only $10, but it was so much more than that, right? Because that might have been their last $10. We don't know that, but they gave it to make sure that Richard had a chance at retiring.
And obviously him coming out of retirement was because of a medical issue. So, Jim, let's talk about some planning steps that you can help our listeners with, maybe like insurance or savings or long-term care strategies, so they don't have to, have a similar fate, drain their assets, and more importantly, re-enter the workforce when all's said and done.
Man, isn't it just great when you hear these stories?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it just goes to show you that the people still have hearts,
yeah.
and I still believe in the entire world, the inherent good in people, right? I just believe that's always going to be true. That you get past all the noise and all the crappy stuff that we see. Most people are just great people, right?
Yeah.
And God, there's so many things. It's like I want to talk about what planning I can do for you, but I also want to scream about the fact that some lady who's in her 70s shouldn't have to have her 78-year-old husband go work some greedy drug company. Like, I just where I want to go with this, and I'm trying to keep my blood pressure down right now.
Yeah.
But it just pisses me off, and I hope I can say that on air, because it is really one of those kind of things that you see people that are struggling to get medicine, to pay for medicine that they need to live. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just absolutely insane. And one of the greatest countries in the world. Boy, I'm doing it anyway. I'm getting mad, but it just drives me crazy. And these are people that work their whole lives, right? I mean, but anyway, I will get back to financial weenie world instead of start yelling politics in a second. So, here's the thing. I wish we had a video, and someday we will get this to where we're high tech and we're together, Kevin, and we can do this and draw it on a board. But I always like to draw kind of like, I want you to imagine like a line and then like a speed bump, right? Imagine the speed bump, ladies and gentlemen. And what I always tell people is, retirement kind of starts at that beginning of the speed bump, right? That first point where it starts to go up. And retirement really goes from about the beginning of that speed bump right to the middle, right? Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is retirement is gas, foot on the gas all the way until you're in your, say 65 to 75, 62 to 77. I don't know what it is, but there's a time where you're just getting it, man. You're traveling, you're having fun, you're spending money. It's awesome. But we all are going to hit an age where we slow down. Mm-hmm. Now, sometimes it's just because we've done everything we want to do. Other times it's health, right? Mm-hmm. It's a loss of a loved one. Nothing takes the wind out of your sails like losing someone you've been married to for 50 years.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. I mean, there's all these pieces that can happen. And I always tell people at that point where we slow down, the need for income, the crazier income starts to dissipate, right? And you think, okay, well, now things are going to be great. Well, not really, right? And here's the reason why, is now you're entering in an age where now medical costs can start to increase, right? And the idea is on the speed bump, things are going to drop back down. And you know what? In some cases, that's a very true statement. My mom and dad although their health wasn't, great, it also wasn't lingering, right? Dad, had heart problems and, over a few years of slowing down, but he was still able to go do things. And then he just went to the hospital and didn't come out, right? Yeah. Mom went in for routine stuff and never came out. And I'm not saying dying at 67 and dying 64 are great, because that's way too young to be dead, right? Yeah. And I hated losing my parents at that age. But I will tell you, that happens more frequently than people who have to go in and spend 9, 10, 12 years living on expensive medicines and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But we have to plan for it, Kevin. That's the problem. Mm-hmm. And see, you mentioned LTC, long-term care, right? Mm-hmm. And again, you get Jim the cynic, and you get me yelling, right? You do this thing about my blood pressure, is that typically the long-term care stuff from 15 and 20 years ago were these great policies that I see people using. But those newer policies that I see don't seem to want to pay for anything. I don't know everything about every one of them, but this is the standard thing that I'm seeing here. And a lot of times what I'm seeing happening is the only person that benefited from the long-term care policy was whoever sold it to them. Mm-hmm. So now you have long-term care issues. What do you do? How do you make this work? Oh my God, do I put all my money in a basket and hope that I can use it for home health care? I don't know the answer to this, but I know it's a basic math problem. And I've been using that as my every segment story. Math, 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 math. So when I sit down with people, I don't want to spend 20 years planning and worrying about something that may not happen. Kevin, I'll never forget, I love her to death. One of my older clients from back in the day, 1998, she became a client. And all she talked about was retiring. That's all she ever talked about. She would never do anything. Mm-hmm. She would never travel. Every penny went towards saving money. Every penny. She would have 40-watt light bulbs in her house. She would literally eat the same lunch every day. And all she wanted to do was save money, save money, save money. She retired. Less than 3 months, she was dead.
Wow.
She left 300. Now, mind you, she was not wealthy by any means. Okay, she did not have a high pay. I think she was making $25,000 a year, so it wasn't like crazy money here. Mm-hmm. She had saved $369,000. I will never forget it. She saved $369,000, and she said, "Jim, whatever you do, make sure my daughter doesn't blow it." So I went and met with her daughter because she was the beneficiary. And I said, "Hey, look, this is what your mom wanted." She said, "Great. Let's have a meeting in 3 weeks. Schedule a meeting in 3 weeks." 3 weeks later, she pulls up to my office in a $100,000 Roush Mustang. And she told me she bought a $150,000 mobile home. Mm. Her mom spent her entire life saving money. And her daughter blew it in 3 weeks. Right. There was $100,000 left.
Wow.
This is what I'm trying to say. I don't know the answer to what to do if you're Richard. I don't know. But I know is this. If you have a plan, at least you got a chance. Mm-hmm. At least we can make sense of it. Because I don't know the right answer. Because I don't know your story. But what I do know is this. It's a topic that we spend on every person that walks in our door. When we get to our summary page of what we call our proposed outline, which keeps my crazy butt on track, okay? Number 4 is always LTC and legacy planning. Why? Because every retiree I know does not want to be a burden on their children.
Right.
They do not want to be a burden on their community, and they don't want to be a burden on their church. Every single person. Every single person that I see. Now, you might not want to become a client of mine when I tell you this, okay? But every single client I have will eventually die. Mm-hmm. So we got to make sure that we do legacy planning. So when they die, that money goes to their kids or their charities or their friends in the most effective way possible. My job is to take all of these pieces of retirement and put them together and make sense of it. What's so unique about that, Kevin, is that's not how I was trained to do this industry. I was taught to sell mutual funds. I was taught to sell these different annuities and ideas. Mm-hmm. We believe in a holistic approach to retirement, and what matters most is having a plan that incorporates all the things we've discussed through our show today. It's not about income. It's not about death benefit. It's not about long-term care. It's not about market volatility. It's how all those things impact you in retirement. This is why we do what we do every single week. I'll say it again because Kevin loves it when I say it. My job is not to convince you to become a client. I don't care if I even am your financial advisor. What I want to do is give you the tools so you can make the right decision so you can enjoy the retirement you deserve.
Well, if you would like to sit down with somebody like Jim and put a plan in place so you can start planning ahead for the unexpected when it comes to retirement, and if you're looking to steer clear of having to re-enter the workforce due to things out of your control, it all starts with one call to the team at Wadadley Financial Group. You want to learn more? You want to get on Jim's calendar today? There's no cost. There's no obligation. All you need to do is dial 321-414-7526. 321-414-PLAN or online anytime at getfst.com. So, Jim, it's been another enjoyable hour with you, sir. And before we are out of time, my friend, the floor is all yours for the final word.
Thanks so much, Kevin. Well, every week, guys, Kevin and I say the same thing. We know that you have tons of options when it comes to getting financial information, and we're just honored to be one of those resources. So if there's anything we can do for you, don't hesitate. Pick up the phone. Give us a call. We're standing by to hear from you. But with all that being said, on behalf of myself and Mr. Kevin Mack, I want to thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Financial Straight Talk.
Thanks for listening to Financial Straight Talk with Jim Fox. To learn more, visit getfst.com.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Wadadley Financial Group. Wadadley Financial Group is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth LLC IPW, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Wadadley Financial Group are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This show is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual's situation. Wadadley Financial Group is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any government agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Wadadley Financial Group.